I actually have a lot of DC and Marvel comic book stuff that I can go over, including the MCU, because there's been some stuff going on with that. I wanted to start things off with DC Comics, though, because I think out of both of the big publishers, they're in the worst shape. They're redoing their universe again. They're going to reboot it all for like the third time in 2 years. I don't know if that's exactly right, but they have rebooted their universe quite a bit. And one of the reasons they keep doing that is because they don't have any idea what the hell they want to do. And their sales are bad. Now, I don't mean that like you're thinking. The main problem that DC has is the only character that they can sell is Batman. Now, I couldn't find the actual comic book charts for October on here, but I can use the top 20 superhero graphic novels to kind of show you. Like, the main character that's selling on here for DC Comics is Batman. They've got some Sandman books on here, but that's because of the Netflix show. Watchmen's always on this list. And then you have Batman. Oh, Miracle Man Omnibus. It's kind of a fluke. It's not the norm. Sandman, Batman. It's all Batman, other than some Sandman stuff. And this is graphic novels, I want to point out. If I were to pull up a top 50 comic book sales, which they usually put out monthly, but for some reason they don't have October's numbers on here, you would see that the only comic book that anyone's interested in buying that has the DC name on it is Batman. Everything else just kind of barely survives. It's really bad. A lot of this has to do with the focus of the company. Like, once again, what's a big selling point? Well, Robin's going to make out with his boyfriend now. This is published 16 hours ago from Screen Rant, so this is an up-and-coming comic. Ooh, it's going to have the first on-page kiss between Robin and its boyfriend, Bernard. Like, this isn't what comic book fans care about. But this is what they push, and it, of course, gets media attention, stuff like that. This is their big selling point, which is not what people that are looking for superhero comics are really into. They want action. Like, first off, if I buy a Tim Drake comic, I'd like him doing some kind of mystery, because Tim Drake's thing that separates him from Dick Grayson and Jason Todd and everybody else is that he's kind of a master detective. So that's what I would like to see, is him solving some kind of big mystery. But, of course, I'm not getting that. What I'm getting is a gay rom-com with his boyfriend, Bernard. That's not what I'm looking for. Everybody at DC Comics is hyper woke, and this isn't just them. This is Marvel, too. And now DC Comics is suggesting all of their creators get off mean old Twitter. Get off that mean old Twitter. Which is funny. Oh, what is this going to do? So they want them to go to Hive. I've never heard of Hive. What is this? I heard of the Mastodon one, the Fediverse. I've heard of Tribal, and now there's Hive. So DC Comics is suggesting all of their creators get off Twitter now. I don't know why. They've already got everybody blocked. So what do they need to go to Twitter for? And none of them talk about comics, too. If you go to any of their feeds, it's them whining and bitching about Trump most of the time, or Republicans. I'm sure that's helping sales, too. I'm sure that's helping the comic book industry. Bleeding Cool gets word that DC Comics has encouraged its talent pool to make Hive accounts and to build their audience using the hashtag comics Twitter, of course. Hive is yet to have a web presence, just an iOS and Android app, but there are ways around that. What's funny about this, though, is somebody's already went over there and taken DC Comics, the @ DC Comics, and made Marvel Studios the actual name on the account. I'm sure that's not going to confuse people. So they want, get off that mean old Twitters. Get off Twitter. These people are clowns. Now, I'd like to point out that I don't know what's going on with DC Comics. Zaslav is just taking the axe to everything, but as of now, DC Comics remains fully operational. I don't know what's going on with that. You could make a profitable business there if they would just run it like a profitable business, but they don't seem interested in doing that. Still, you're literally going to have to get the rot out of the comic book industry if you want to fix it, and I don't know if either of these companies are ever going to do that. They seem very intent and happy to just remain propaganda platforms. MCU is not that far off from doing that. Everyone's showing off this new Marvel's promo art. Here's Brie and her co-stars. So you got Monica Rambeau, Miss Marvel, and Carol Danvers here. Kamala Khan, Carol Danvers, and Monica Rambeau. I like Monica's costume, actually. Bree's I still hate. I don't like. It's the worst. It's the worst Captain Marvel costume. Miss Marvel's costume is also ugly. I am really curious to how this movie does. This movie will be interesting because, for one, it's not sandwiched between two Avengers movies, and you have other people in the movie. And if you go into this movie without seeing the Disney Plus shows, you're not going to even know what's going on because Miss Marvel has her own show. And the only reason, if you're not a fan of the comics, you would know how Monica Rambeau is there is if you watched WandaVision. So that's two series you'll need to have watched to really enjoy this movie. So it's going to be interesting to see what this movie pulls at the box office. Maybe they should give Simu Liu a spot in the movie. So he had a big old meltdown yesterday. Simu Liu, if you don't know, was the star of Shang-Chi. He's all pissed off because Quentin Tarantino came out and said that Marvel actors aren't movie stars, and I don't necessarily disagree with him because other than Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, who is a movie star that got their start from doing Marvel movies? Now, Robert Downey Jr., of course, had a name before he was Iron Man again, though I would say it was Iron Man that revived his career. Chris Evans, I think, I can't think of what he did before Captain America, but he's kind of become somewhat of a movie star thanks to these movies. But other than those two, maybe Chris Hemsworth also has become a movie star. But other than those three, Mark Ruffalo, I would argue nobody likes. We'll just leave him on the side. Other than those three, who else has kind of blown up from being in a Marvel movie? And before you say, whoa, well, it's a lot of them, keep in mind there's been how many? Over 20 movies? There's a lot of people that have been in the Marvel Universe by now. And the shows and all of that, who's really blown up and prospered from that? It's all about the franchise now, which I think is kind of what he's saying. Captain America is the star, not Chris Evans, is what he was saying. And that falls in line with things that I've been saying. The franchise is the star, not the characters. Now, the actors can seal themselves nice pots of money by playing the character because people would rather see the same person play the character. But just because Chris Evans was Captain America, if he's in a movie, that doesn't incline me. That doesn't make me more inclined to go see that movie. For example, Tom Cruise. Now, Tom Cruise was in a movie. I would be interested in watching it because Tom Cruise has made a bunch of really good movies. It's not the same as it used to be. The movie star is kind of dead. And Simu Liu is bitching about this. He had a huge meltdown. He got ratioed and people were just making fun of him left and right because of things he's saying here. I love how he wants to throw this on here and say, the golden age was wise Hegel. Once again, thinking he's the only Asian martial artist, which always drives me crazy because there's so many legendary people that have came before him that he never, ever gives any respect to. Like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. I mean, there's a long list. Jet Li. A whole bunch that have starred in some amazing martial art movies. And he totally ignores him. He wants this. he wants to push this idea that he's the first. It's not true. But he's always looking for attention. He's, in my opinion, worse than Brie Larson. I think he's the new Brie Larson of Marvel, to be honest. Brie Larson hasn't even really done anything lately, if you want me to be honest. She really has just been working out and making her little obscure videos on social media. Other than that, she really hasn't done anything. I don't think that she's going to be, I don't think it's wise to make her the face of Marvel, but because she's no Robert Downey Jr. as far as charisma, but this guy, he's known as the troll of Marvel. He'll go around, he'll fight people online, which tells me he's not very happy. He's fighting people on Twitter. Sounds miserable. But it's just funny to me that he's just keeping this shtick up. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video, comment below, check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.